the spokesperson for the Democratic Alliance, the MP, Siviwe Gwarube. She joins us now. Siviwe, good afternoon to you. I mean, you represent an opposition party, and yet I imagine you're joining the nation in paying tribute to Jackson Mthembu this afternoon. He was someone who made as much of a contribution as he possibly could to our nation.
Good afternoon, Stephen. It's most certainly a sad day in South Africa today. We have lost a true patriot. I think South Africa is both devastated and shocked to learn of the passing of Minister Mthembu. But, you know, one of the things that we will always remember about him is that he was one of those very few ANC ministers who was always very much prepared to reach across the aisle, who was somebody who was always demonstrating their love for South Africa. And he also had a great and a wicked sense of humor. And so many of us who were in parliament with him will definitely remember him for that, and definitely remember him for always bringing, some humor and some joy in some of the most tense, sometimes, parliamentary sittings over the years.
I was going to say, I mean, Parliament can be a very difficult space. Someone like Jackson Mthembu could possibly change the atmosphere just with a joke.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, one of the things that was also just so incredible about Minister Mthembu is that, you know, he never shied away from accountability, and he never shied away from the work that needed to be done by Parliament. And so in his recent position as the minister in the presidency, he was always willing and always prepared to accept accountability and to accept oversight from Parliament. And even when many of our colleagues from across the aisle would ask him difficult questions, he understood what the role of Parliament was, and he understood that as a South African first and foremost, that was the job that he had at hand. And so we really are sending our deepest condolences to his family and to the ANC and to his friends and to some of his colleagues.
I mean, it also shows you how important it can be to have people within opposition parties that people can go and talk to. I mean, lines of communication are always an important thing. He was someone who I imagine many people felt they could trust.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, I think Stephen, I mean, our body of politics has essentially become, you know, rather toxic over the years. And I think it's been so important, I think, for many of us, and I think for many of us as young MPs, to see people who, like Jackson Mthembu, who served on the other side of the benches, who sat across the aisle from us, but who were always willing to put South Africa first. And I think that's important, because ultimately we are there to serve the people of South Africa first, before we are there as political appointees. And so he always embodied that, and I personally will definitely miss that about him in Parliament, and I'm deeply saddened and quite frankly devastated by this.
It also shows us once again, I'm afraid, and I mean, you know, it's a point we have to keep making. It shows you how absolutely devastating COVID-19 is on our country.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think, I mean, a lot of South Africans have been bemoaning just, you know, the deaths that have hit so close to home due to COVID-19. And daily we are just seeing this national grief just that is gripping South Africa. And I think just the only thing that we just need to remember is that, this pandemic is a killer, and that, you know, if we've got to do our part. We've got to do our part to help along frontline workers who are fighting valiantly on the front lines every single day by, you know, doing the basics that we can. And we also have to do our bit to make sure that we protect those who have comorbidities and who are vulnerable to this pandemic. But it just shows you that, you know, that everyone and everybody is vulnerable.
Siviwe Gwarube, thanks very much indeed. National spokesperson for the Democratic Alliance. I really do appreciate the time.